Hi, I'm Mal, and welcome to another episode of MiniModelMakes. This is the fourth instalment of my High Elf Army Rescue vlog that I'm doing at the moment. I am planning to do some little tutorials for other bits and pieces as I'm going along. I've got an idea with something that I'm actually working on with the High Elf Army at the moment, actually, and doing a video for that. So for all those not interested in Warhammer Fantasy, bear with me, there are going to be a few tutorials and other bits and pieces soon as well. I did an Imperial Guardsman video recently for those 40kers out there. So yeah, back to the High Elf Army Rescue that I'm doing at the moment. So why High Elves? I'm doing High Elves because they are the first army I had for Warhammer Fantasy when I was young. I got the 4th edition box set with the elves and the goblins in. Was struck with the elves straight away. So I decided I'm going to go out there, try and get some bits and pieces and craft myself a High Elf army to play Warhammer Fantasy with. Why now? Well, with the talk about the fact that Games Workshop or Forge World are looking at doing or going back to the Warhammer Fantasy world, the old world, and releasing rule sets and hopefully some new models, I've decided it'd be nice to have a couple of Warhammer Fantasy armies in my collection to play fantasy with, because I do actually miss it. I do miss moving regiments of troops around. Also, I've recently, my youngest son, we're reading through the various High Elf army books I've got at night, and he's really getting into a High Elf army, and my other son is getting wants to play fantasy as well, which I've just got an army for him as well, but it's not High Elves, so we won't cover it here. And we just want to play some games at home. There are a few people in the local community who still play, so it'll be nice to try and get some games with them. Maybe in the future I'll do a battle report, who knows, it'd be interesting. But this is basically to put a bit of positivity back into the community, which is at times so negative at the moment around the Warhammer Facebook pages, fantasy Facebook pages, and the Warhammer Old World page that is out there. So this is just something for people to look at, and you know, it's positive hobby, which is better than people just arguing over nothing, which seems to happen, which is a shame. So, still trolling through eBay at the moment, which is the main place to try and get things. Everything is so expensive, and people that are selling stuff on there, I think, just look at how much certain people are trying to sell items for, buy it now, and think, I'll put it on for that price as well, without actually looking to see how much things sell for, which is a shame. I've not really, in the past few weeks since my last update, I've not really got anything off eBay, because it's been really hard to try and find anything I need, or anything that is out there at the minute is stupidly expensive, which is a shame. So the other two sites I'll tell you about if you're looking at starting an army or trying to find places to find an army. There is the Troll Trader, who sell second-hand Warhammer Fantasy Battle products, which I've bought a few things from in the past. They're pretty good. They sell it at an alright price. It's still, I think, expensive for what you're getting, but it's cheaper than eBay predominantly, and they do have things on there that eBay might not have from time to time. And there is an eBay shop called the Monster Merchants. They're very similar. They're on eBay. They have a lot of fantasy stuff you can troll through and possibly buy some bits and pieces from them. Also, there are some trading groups out there. There is Warhammer Fantasy Buy, Sell and Trade, which I've looked at. I've not bought anything from yet. And I recently found a group called Middle Hammer, and there's quite a few bits and pieces on there too from time to time. But unfortunately, it's one of those, you've got to sort of look through it and hopefully someone is selling something that you want or that you're interested in. The final thing, which I'd actually forgotten about when I sort of started this project is I'm lucky enough to have some wargaming groups in the area. I've got Red Steel at Preston, and then that's in the shop which is called Harlequins. And then there is Lazy Dragon Games at Blackpool. I was there recently painting some High Elf archers with one of my friends and catching up with him. And I was approached by an amazing person called Sam. I've not put your full name in, Sam, but I know you've subscribed to my videos. So I'm just dropping your name in. I hope you don't mind. And Sam was sort of asking, you painting elves? Do you need anything else? And I was sort of started telling him about my journey so far and the bits and pieces that I need and how things are stupidly expensive. And he said, I've got some stuff for sale. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm interested. You know, whatever you sort of got, I might be interested in. So he added me on Facebook and we had a chat. And as well as getting an Empire army for my eldest son so we can play some games of fantasy, I will say no more because this is High Elves. I got a couple of units of plastic White Lions and plastic Swordmasters from him, as well as some Battle Magic cards and an 8th edition rulebook for a really good price. So what I would like to say is thank you, Sam, so much. My boys are over the moon looking through all the stuff and can't wait to play a game of fantasy, which will hopefully happen next weekend or the weekend after. We're just going to get a practice game, get some stuff on the tables and go from there. So all I can say is thank you, and that is a good point for others out there. Check out your local gaming clubs. Go and see your old veteran gamers. Have you got any fantasy models that you might want to get rid of for sale? And go from there, really. The bonus is, as I say, you know, they might give you a good deal. They're certainly not stupid eBay prices, which I am so thankful for. So once more, thank you, Sam. What I'm going to do now is I'll get my overhead cam up. I'll go through the few bits and pieces that I picked up, including the 2 units from Sam, and go through my progress so far at the moment, show you what I've been doing and how the army is getting along. All right, see you shortly. So the first thing I thought I'd show you for this update is I have finished my artillery battery. 3 repeater bolt throwers, which is amazing. If you can remember at the start, I've got one of these on frame, which is the one at the back with the handles on. And then the other 2, one I bought from Troll Trader, one I picked up from eBay for about £4, but it was in awful state. It was just basically covered in black paint and one of the legs was broken on it. So stripped that down. The crewmen were missing arms as well, and both bolt throwers sadly are missing the levers which you get. It's really hard to find a plastic bolt thrower without the levers broken on it. So over the moon to get the one on the actual frame itself. However, the crewmen do have, or one of the crewmen does have an arm holding the lever. So at least I've got one of them stood next to it, so I've got a lever on there for them to fire. It's not the end of the world, but there it is. Really enjoyed painting these. Nailed down my gems, how I'm going to paint my gems, which I'm going to bring this a bit nearer. They've got quite a bit of a shine to them, which is good. I've got an old gold style down, and then it's the used shabty bone for the wood. Very classic elf bolt thrower, which is what I was after. This crewman's blonde hair is, I'm really happy with that. That's the contrast paint, one of the yellow contrast paints. I think it's called Ironed and Sun. And then I've used a line paint over that, which is called Dawn Yellow and Edge paint. And I'm really happy with sort of the tone to the blonde hair for him, which is superb. Really happy with how the crews have come out. I've got my is like my battery captain, so I've put some feathers onto his helm from another box set to make him stand out a bit more. Doesn't have any rules or anything in game. It's just for me, it's the narrative of the army. The one thing I'm not happy with at the moment is the white. It's taking too long and still looks a tiny bit chalky. So I've got to really look at a way of speeding up the whites, which I'm currently going through with my archers. If you've got any ideas, please let me know. But 3 eagle claw bolt throwers, painted up, over the moon with those. That's the start of my army starting to take shape, completed and painted up. I'll move on. Next up, I've got the leader of my army for the time being, which is the Elven Prince from the Island of Blood set on his Griffin. Really happy with the wings on this model, which was a bit of an experiment. It's a lovely model to paint. Really enjoyed painting him. Very happy with how he's turned out. He looks really good. Happy for him to be leading my army. See underneath. Really did like painting that Griffin. So I'm over the moon with him. I'll move on to the next unit. Next unit, which is the one I'm currently working on, is this unit of archers. I still need to do the white on this. I've just done the base layer and also some work on the hair and a bit of highlighting of the golden gems. But they are coming along quite nicely. I like the blue as a contrast to the white. It gives it that classic elven colour scheme, which is what I'm looking for. These are about halfway done at the moment. I've still got the banner to do for the banner bearer. One thing we'll talk about with this is I'm struggling to find any decent transfers. People want about 12 or 13 quid for a tiny sheet of high elf transfers, which is awful. So what I'm going to do, I've got some ideas. I'm going to go through all my Imperial Guard and 40k transfers and see if there's anything on there that might fit the elven aesthetic. The big one as well is the Eldar. They're slightly more stylised and futuristic looking transfers, sadly, but there may be a few there that might fit. The other thing is the Imperial Knights transfers, which I've got quite a few of. There's like a horse's head on that. I'm going to have a look at that and see if that sort of fits the elven aesthetic. You know, they like horses and unicorns and phoenixes and falcons. That's a very fancy looking thing. So I'll go down that route, have a look, see what I can put onto the banners from there. But they're coming along nicely. I'm really happy with the work on them. As I said, I've just got to really do the white, the blue, highlights on them, and the hair, and then the little bits like the gems, just touch them up and make them shine. Just dropping them everywhere. But that unit's coming along nice. It's the first 10. I've got another, I think I've got about 14 archers spray painted up, ready to go, which is good. So I hopefully plough through those over the next couple of weeks. Alright, I'll move on to the next. So out of all the bits and pieces that I've recently bought and the junk lots, I've managed to resurrect a couple of silver helms. They're not too bad. I do have some shields for them as well. I've managed to strip the paint off these because they were terrible. They're a bit of a hodgepodge from different sort of lots that I've won for a couple of quid each. But they're alright. I've started making progress on the horses. I'm just having to play around with colour schemes really, so it's just base colours on them at the moment. I've managed to resurrect another couple of horses as well. Probably one's going to be for a mounted mage, but there's another one there. It's hard to find horses where the tails are not broken. That's if you find horses or cavalry at all. Cavalry just seems to be in such short supply for all the armies, really. I've got some Illyrian Reavers, but I need some heavy cavalry, so at some point I'll have to start searching for Dragon Princes. But I've got a couple there, which is a start. I've done an unboxing video on some High Elf. So I actually bought a box of Silver Helms recently from eBay. I've done the unboxing video for that, so I've got 8 more Silver Helms that I can add to these, so I will have 10 cavalry, which will easily be enough for my army, which is great. I'll move on. I'll start getting some other bits and pieces out for you to look through. So thanks to the amazing Sam, who I met at Lazy Dragon Games, I've picked up a big unit here of White Lions to add to the ones I've got. They are currently sprayed black, which is a shame because they need to be white. I don't know whether I'll have to paint strip these or I'll have a proper look and see if I can get away with a white or a wraithbone over the top. They're in really good condition. This guy's missing an axe, but that's not the end of the world. I do already have the command. I've got 10 White Lions with the command to add to these, so that means that I'm going to be able to field, you know, between 25 to 30 White Lions. The plastic White Lions are really hard to find. If you do, they are stupid amounts of money, so I got a really good deal on these, which is amazing. This is the heart of the army. This is what I want the army to revolve around, this big unit of White Lions, and I've got a chariot on sprue to add to these. They are my favourite unit by far in the High Elf army. You can pick up the metal ones a lot easier. They are very old models, so it depends what you want, but I really wanted the plastic White Lions. I do have the special character for the unit as well. So, as I said, this is going to be the heart of the army. This is the unit I really wanted to find, and I was getting really disheartened trying to find some plastic ones at a decent price. So, really happy with these. I'll add these to the 10 I've got, and I'm happy with those, and I'll move on to the next unit. So, the other unit I picked up of elves in my recent deal was some Swordmasters to add to the ones that were kindly donated to me, and that's going to now round up. I can do a unit of 20 Swordmasters, which is perfect. That's what I wanted. Apologies already to you though, Sam. I have stripped the paint off them because they were red and they need to be blue. So I use BioStrip. I do have a video on how to use BioStrip to strip models. Most of them have come out pretty nicely from the strip there. There's a bit of stain into some of them, but that's not the end of the world. It's good enough to be able to put an undercoat over the top of them and paint them up. So yeah, 20 Swordmasters now, which is amazing. I'll move on from there. And the final thing to show you progress-wise from my last update is I've managed to strip all the paint off these Spearmen. They've had a good scrub and they're all currently drying now because I did them this morning. The BioStrip again has worked wonders, which is superb. What I will do is I'll start making my way through these bits. Hopefully if I can make 20-25 Spearmen out of all of this, which I should be able to do, I'll be happy with that. That adds to the Swordmasters, the White Lions, and I've also got 20 Sea Guard. So I've got the crux of a good army there with the potential for 40 archers, hopefully too. So infantry wise, I should now have plenty for my army. I don't have to worry about finding anything else, which is great. So what I'll do is I'll go back onto my main camera and I'll wrap up this current instalment for you. See you shortly. So we're coming to the end of this instalment of High Elf Fantasy Battle Army Rescue. Really all I can say at the minute is what's sort of next. I will continue to plough through my archers at the moment. Once the archers are done, I'll reward myself by painting up one of the more special units, and then I'll go back and I'll do the Spearmen. That will be the next core unit for my army. I'm still out there looking for things. The big thing is my youngest son wants a dragon. He's really enamoured with dragon mages in particular, and Calidor, when we've been reading the High Elf Army books. So he does want a dragon for the army, which is going to cost me a bomb, because they're certainly not cheap, and there isn't very good quality out there. Anyone's got a High Elf plastic dragon, hit me up, leave a message please, or come to the MiniModelMakes Facebook page, and hopefully we can do a decent deal. As well as a dragon, I'm going to need some heavy cavalry, so I'm looking at trying to get some dragon princes. They're the two big things I need now. Maybe the special characters will go down that route. We're going to be playing a game. My son's got an army, my youngest son will play with me with the High Elves, and we'll probably play a game of 6th edition, because that's the rule set I am most familiar with from playing in the past. Other things or possibilities that I need to think about are the other units I've not really mentioned in the Elven army. So eagles, which are great for drawing charges and sort of acting as skirmishers. Then there's Phoenix Guard and Shadow Warriors. I don't know whether I'll go down that route, start adding those to the army. I guess we will see. Then the other thing I need to get for these High Elves are the magic cards, which I gather are from 7th edition. I don't know if there were cards done for 7th and cards done for 8th. Any gamers out there who are familiar with the magic system from 7th and 8th, did anything change? Did they just keep the same cards? It'd be great if you dropped me a message or left a comment below to advise me and guide me about that. That'd be great. A little bit of community knowledge would go miles with that for me, which would be brilliant. Then the other thing I need to think about now as well is terrain. Picking up some hills, maybe a battle mat, a few buildings, and some woods. If anyone out there has got any ideas or suggestions about that, please, once again, leave it in the comments. I really want to hear from you. I really want to get the knowledge of everyone who's out there and been here before me. And also, if anyone's watching these videos and in the same predicament as me, if you comment there, it's going to be really, really helpful. The other thing I can probably do is I'll hit up the Facebook pages and ask for advice from there when I post this video on, which would be great. Not much more to say except for please like, subscribe and share. I'm a bloke doing his hobby in a man cave. I am amazed by the amount of subscribers I actually have. It's a dream to get over 1,000 subscribers. It'd be wonderful. I've also got the MiniModelMakes Facebook page, which I'll show by magic. It'll cover my ugly mug now. Please go on there. I normally leave little messages about what I'm doing or what videos I'm working on, and I'll put some progress pics of my elves on there. And that is it. As I said, hopefully soon, in a week or so, 2 weeks, I'll have more progress for you, more updates, and it'll be the next instalment from there. All right, please take care, stay safe out there, and bye for now.